Welcome to my channel, my respected friends and viewers. Today is kind of epilogue to the series we concluded covering four major blocks, their consortiums, engaged in fierce competition over five tech battlefields and two potential outcomes for humanity. Yes, the underpinning critical component in all the five tech areas is called semiconductors. Briefly, semiconductors are by default a source of fierce competition between emerging power blocks, primarily because they are, number one, underpinning technological tool that can help win any or all of the five tech battlefields, and B, the foundation, or secondly, the foundational tech tool for both economic prosperity and national security in 21st century. Control over semiconductor technology is a key determinant of which country gains the technological upper hand in critical areas like artificial intelligence, fusion, quantum computing, military systems, and global economic influence. So let's dive into today's vlog, the semiconductor choke point. Semiconductors, the bedrock of modern civilizations. If the previous battlefields are the fleshy applications like AI, quantum, fusion, then semiconductors are the unglamorous absolute bedrock they all run on. There is no AI without advanced chips to train the models, no quantum computer without classical chips to control it, no precision guided weapons. This makes the semiconductor supply chain the most critical geopolitical choke point of the 21st century. It's also incredibly fragile and globalized. A chip designed in the United States might use IP from UK, be manufactured in Taiwan, packaged in Malaysia, and sold to a car maker in Germany. This interdependence is both a strength and a catastrophic vulnerability, and our four blocks are now in a desperate race to secure their own slice of this ecosystem. The four blocks struggles for silicon sovereignty. The BlackRock consortium dominates chip design and the software ecosystem, but relies heavily on foreign manufacturing. The China led Sophia is pursuing aggressive self sufficiency through massive state subsidies, but remain years behind in cutting edge fabrication. The European Union regulatory bloc is using its market power to attract fabs like TSMC in Germany and enacting the CHIPS Act to double its global production. The Sovereign Wealth Fund network is strategically investing across the supply chain in order to ensure that it gets the share no matter which block wins and which part of the world they are supplied and manufactured. Each block has a distinct vulnerability and strategy. The US led BlackRock consortium holds the crown jewel of design but has offshored its manufacturing, creating a huge risk. China is in a desperate catch up game, spending hundreds of billions to avoid being strangled by sanctions. The European Union is using its regulatory and market power to onshore production, fearing being caught in the crossfire. And sovereign wealth funds, they are the kingmakers. They are investing in the companies like ASML that makes the machines that makes the chips. By funding the entire ecosystem, they ensure their member states have access regardless of which bloc dominates. This isn't just a trade war, it's a complex struggle for what we call silicon sovereignty. The ultimate choke point, advanced manufacturing, extreme ultraviolet Lithography, mastered only by the Dutch company ASML, is essential for creating chips below 7 nm and is subject to strict export controls. The manufacturing of leading edge logic chips is concentrated in Taiwan, TSMC, and South Korea, Samsung, making them geopolitical flashpoints. This creates a silicon shield for Taiwan, but also a silicon trap where a conflict would instantly crash the global economy. No single bloc currently possesses a complete sovereignty capability in advanced semiconductors design and manufacturing. The true choke point isn't just chips, it's the ability to make the most advanced chip. This hinges on a machine so complex that only one company on earth, ASML in the Netherlands, can build it. The EUV lithography machine, the US and its allies control the export of these machines, which is a powerful tool against China. Furthermore, over 90% of the most advanced chips are made in Taiwan by a single company, TSMC. This creates a terrifying geopolitical paradox known as silicon shield and silicon trap. The shield is the idea that no one would invade Taiwan because it would destroy the global economy, including the aggressor. But the trap is that the entire modern world is held hostage by the single point of failure. A conflict, a natural disaster, or a blockade there wouldn't just cause a shortage, it would trigger an instant global digital stone age and an economic depression, freezing progress in AI, quantum, and more. This hyper concentration is why all blocs are now spending hundreds of billions in a desperate attempt to race to build fabs elsewhere. The domino effect on other battlefields. AI. The development of larger AI model is directly gated by access to the most advanced training chips, creating a tangible compute divide. Quantum computing, the stability and scaling of quantum processors are dependent on specialized classical chips for control and error corrections. Military tech dominance, modern warfare is a contest of sensor quality, data processing, and communication, all determined by semiconductor superiority. Lead in chip creates a self reinforcing cycle. Better chips enable better R&D, which in turn designs the next generation of even better chips. Now you see the domino effect. If you choke off a rival's access to advanced semiconductors, you don't just hurt their smartphones industry, you cripple their entire technological trajectory. Their AI research hits a wall because they cannot train new models. Their quantum computing efforts slow down, their military equipments become a generation behind. This creates a self reinforcing cycle of dominance. The block with the best chips can run the most sophisticated simulations to design the next, even better chips. This is why the semiconductor battlefield is unique. It's not one frontier among many. It's the foundational layer that determines the speed and limits of progress in all others. Collaboration amidst decoupling. Despite fierce competition, blocs are forced to collaborate within specialized alliances such as US, Japan, Netherlands, pegged to control EUV technology. Global R&D consortia still exist for pre-competitive research into new material like graphene and new transistors architecture beyond silicon. The sovereign wealth fund network acts as a crucial neutral financer, investing in multinational projects that help stabilize the fragile global supply chain. This results in a selective decoupling where blocks collaborate on the basic science and extreme specialty equipments while fiercely competing in fabrication and design. Even in this most contentious of battles, there's no clean break. The technology is too complex for any one country to master alone. We see alliances of necessity like the US, Japan, and the Netherlands working together to maintain their lead in lithography. There is still global collaboration on the basic science for what comes after silicon. And once again, the sovereign wealth funds provide the glue, funding the incredibly expensive infrastructure that keeps the global system running. So the reality is selective decoupling. The blocks are trying to onshore the most strategically vital parts of supply chain, especially advanced fabrication, while remaining interdependent in the foundational technologies, the capital investment that makes it all possible. It's a messy, unstable, and unavoidable compromise. The stakes: who builds the future? The semiconductor battlefield will determine which block sets the pace of technological evolution for the next half century. It is the core of economic resilience, with auto, defense, and tech industries held hostage by chip shortages and supply chain disruptions. The outcome dictates the balance of military power and chip supremacy, translates directly into intelligence and weapons superiority. Ultimately, the fight for semiconductor is a fight for the sovereign rights to innovate and exist as an independent technological power in the 21st century. In conclusion, the stakes in the semiconductor battles are existential. This isn't just about profits, it's about which block gets to build and define the future. The winner will set the tempo for all technological progress. They will have the most resilient economy, immune to external supply shocks. They will possess an unmatchable military advantage. For the China led sphere, it's about survival and breaking free from containment. For the US led bloc, it's about maintaining primacy. For the European Union, it's about ensuring it doesn't become a vessel to other powers. And for the Sovereign Wealth Fund, it's about preserving their members' wealth and influence. The ability to produce advanced semiconductors has become quite simply the right to remain a sovereign actor on the world stage. Blocks standings in 2025 in semiconductors technology. Taiwan. Semiconductors manufacturing company TSMC produces over 90% of world's most advanced chips below 10 nm. The US is projected to more than triple its domestic manufacturing capacity between 2022 and 32 due to the CHIPS Act aiming to capture 28% of global advanced chip manufacturing capacity by 2032, up from 0% in 2022. South Korea is a global leader in memory chips and major player in advanced manufacturing. Japan has a strong presence across the entire supply chain, particularly in material equipment and components. China holds the highest market share, 30%, in the downstream assembly, dismantling, and packaging ATP market. European Union excels in specialized manufacturing equipment, specific types of chips, and research. The global semiconductors industry is highly interdependent, with different regions leading in specific segments of supply chain. Taiwan, Korea, and the United States, Japan, and China are the dominant players, while the European Union and United Kingdom are strong in specialized equipment and research, and Russia lags significantly behind at the moment. Taiwan is the undisputed global leader in semiconductor manufacturing, particularly in advanced logic chips. Manufacturing dominance you can understand that Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company TSMC produces over 90% of world's most advanced chips below 10 overall capacity. Taiwan accounts for more than 60% of total global semiconductor production capacity. The US lead in core intellectual property, chip design, and electronic design automation EDA software. Design and IP US headquarters companies account for nearly 50% of global semiconductors revenue and lead in chip design activities. Manufacturing growth at US United States is projected to more than triple its domestic manufacturing capacity between 22 and 2032 due to the CHIPS Acts aiming to capture 28% of global advanced chip manufacturing. South Korea is a global leader in memory chips and a major player in advanced manufacturing memory leadership. Companies like Samsung and SK Hynix dominates the memory chips market, rivaled only by United States firm Micron. Advanced manufacturing, it holds significant wafer fabrication capacity and is competitive with Taiwan in advanced processing. Japan has strong presence across the entire supply chain, particularly in materials, equipment, and components. Specialization: Japan is renowned for high precision components, essential material like wafers and photoresists, and semiconductor manufacturing equipment. Collaborative effort: Japan is investing heavily to attract advanced foundries, including new TSMC's facilities, to bolster its domestic manufacturing capabilities. China is a manufacturing powerhouse with the world's largest market for semiconductors and is striving for self sufficiency amid geopolitical tensions. Assembly and packaging: China holds the highest market share, 30%, as I mentioned earlier, in the downstream assembly, testing, and packaging ATP market. Rapid expansion: the government's Made in China 2025 plan is driving rapid expansion of its domestic production capacity through its most advanced chips are still considered behind Taiwan's and South Korea's leading edge. For example, 7 nm versus 3 nm. Challenges: US export control restrict China's access to the most advanced manufacturing equipment and high end AI chips like NVIDIA's H100 or H200, creating bottlenecks in its progress towards leading edge nodes. The European Union excels in specialized manufacturing equipments, specific types of chips, and research. Equipment and research: Europe has world class firms supplying critical tools of lithography, etching, and other fabrication processes. European research remains a driving force in miniaturization and innovation. Manufacturing lags: the region generally lags behind Asia and United States in overall fabrication capacity, particularly for advanced logics chips through though the European Union Chips Acts aim to boost domestic production. Russia's semiconductor industry at this stage is less advanced than the other regions listed or discussed earlier. Limited capability: the industry primarily focus on older legacy technology nodes for domestic, industrial, and military applications. Challenges: the industry has been severely impacted by international sanctions, a talent exodus following the invasion of Ukraine, and lack of access to modern manufacturing equipments, further hindering its ability to compete for advanced technology. Now, my two special countries, status of Australia. Australia's strengths lie in research and development, particularly in specialized areas like quantum computing, photonics, and sensors for defense and medical industries. Initiatives as of October 2025, funding for workforce development and modernization existing small scale production facilities. Conference held in October 2025 brought together industry leaders, policymakers, and investors to map a roadmap for nation semiconductors future, focusing on leveraging its deep tech IP and talent base. Finally, a key focus is leveraging Australia's access to critical minerals, lithium, nickel, rare earths, essential for semiconductor production, in collaboration with international partners like Japan to secure supply chain. Now, the status of Pakistan. Pakistan has historically had a negligible role in the global semiconductors value chain and relies heavily on imports. Key initiatives as of October 2025, October 2025, Pakistan launched the initiative to nurture semiconductor professionals for industry, research, and education. Inspire. Inspire to create a complete chip design and research ecosystem in Pakistan, establishing 9 university clusters and 6 state-of-the-art integrated circuit laboratories. Pakistan is seeking collaboration with other nations, particularly Saudi Arabia, in HR development. The training initiative is part of a broader national semiconductor development roadmap, envisioning progression towards outsourced assembly and testing, OSAT, and eventually fabrication capabilities. Uh, with this comes the end of my vlog. References are available, those are consulted in front of your screen. Please feel free to dive into them for further information. And next, some more references. Once it is restored, the screen is restored, I'll move to the final slide, informing you the next series. So, positive and negative forces have remained entangled throughout the history of human existence, and this battle is on. Our next exciting series will be exploring the same on the same five tech battlefields. And the semiconductors, to know what issues the humankind and tech advancements may face if the tools are penetrated by evil genius, and how we may potentially safeguard against them. The first of this series will be on on crypto area, because we have already experienced fake crypto in the market, penetrating and causing billions of dollars of damage to investors. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like if you found it interesting, and stay tuned for the next exciting series on the same five tech battlefields and semiconductors, to know what issues may be generated if these techs penetrate or falls in the hands of evil genius, as we already experienced fake crypto in the market. Till then, look after yourself, take care, and bye bye for now.